Langsung aja. Aku mau daily, anjir. Aku baru nyadar gak bisa keluar. Halo Koyo. Mat pagi. Ya, no intro ya. Langsung. Aku nggak nyadar kalau dari sini habis Archon Quest yang kemarin itu nggak bisa keluar, anjir. Harus sidang dulu. Bang, aku butuh map baru buat dieksplor. Salah sendiri, nge-eksplornya kecepatan. Kamu jadi gabut kan? Ya, mat datang ya Bang David ya. Oke. Jam 8. Astaga. Guys, keluar loh. Ayo, sidang aja. Ayo, tak ladeni. Hai Bang. Hai juga Bang Ahmad Raffi Dian Kusuma. Dan iya, Bang David kesini cuma ini. Tidak bisa Bang. Iya, terserah. Tapi kita pikirkan pelan-pelan saja. Iya.
Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about
Aku
what
kesini
happens
cuma
than
buat
we
apa?
do.
Cuma buat nonton. Iya.
Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then.
Best of luck to you.
Oke, terus? Oh, kita... Oh, yang scene ini. Aku sempat melihat kemarin yang di Bang Agil.
Well, how did your investigation go?
Dan iya, aku tadi sempat ngumpulin something. Dan aku missing something satu. Nggak tahu ini di mana. Dan ya, intinya yang diculik itu seorang pelukis yang cukup terkenal. Dan sepertinya kenal sama Line. Dan Line itu ya gampangnya bikin trik lah. Triknya itu kan sudah disetting dari pemilihan nomor, terus tempat duduk dan segala macem. Ya itu semua disetting sepertinya sama Line. Ya namanya trik sulap lah ya.
To be honest,
Dan halo Bang
you
Petra.
might be
Ke
disappointed.
spoiler. Oh iya, jalur air. Paimon real cosplayer. Iya coy. Dan kalau kalian notice something ketika kalian escape, Paimon juga pakai ini.
No, we're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up
Bacot kamu,
empty-handed.
Purina. Kamu tiba-tiba nuduh Line tanpa ada bukti. Ya, mungkin gara-gara kebetulan pas dipertujuh karena Line ya.
That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so
Ya, karena mungkin ini ada part terpenting dari cerita. Dimohon penonton tidak spoiler ya. Kalau spoiler tak TO. Ini sebuah peringatan keras. Ini beran.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Semua hadirin pun terkesima.
Thank you, Mr.
Anjir, langsung
In
lanjut.
that case, I take
Soalnya
it-
gak iso daily aku anjir. Gak iso keluar, Cuk.
You
Makanya
ran
yang tak
to and
lanjut,
maintained
coy.
within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime.
Anda
Is this
berlari
correct?
menuju kotak berada.
Yes.
Boleh
that's
bantu-bantu
correct, Your Honor.
domain. Setelah ini ya, aku kejebak ini, coy.
In that
Aku
case,
jebak
I
Archon
call
Quest.
upon the prosecution.
Dan BTW halo ya,
Lady
Ahmad Naijeb ya.
Farina. Do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Lenny is clearly lying.
Setelah itu 2 jam kemudian. Masa ini lama anjir?
There is
Enggak
no
ah.
way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
Lumayan anjir. Oh, 1 jam sidang doang. Oh, 1 jam. Oke. Ya, 1 jam kemudian berarti. Dan halo
Did
Ju,
you
selamat pagi.
hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I
Bentar
see.
guys, aku fokus ya.
But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Nah, iya, aku tadi ketemu Navia juga gitu.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Apa? Apa? Aku keskip kan jadi.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
Oh, penonton dengar suara Brak tapi Line nggak tahu kalau ada suara Brak.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Sepertinya melambangkan pandangan oratrice pada sidang ini.
Well, then,
Pagi-pagi ini
ladies
sebenarnya
and
gue pensi
gentlemen,
pentas seni, tapi
allow me
bonus
to use
aja.
the words of
Astaga,
the magician himself.
mantap.
You never
Nah,
know what
mementingkan
can
streaming
happen in
saya
the blink of an
daripada
eye.
pentas seni, mantap.
Indeed,
Lanjutkan
it
anak
seems
muda.
an alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye.
Biar kuulang kata-kata terdalam bersot pada permulaan acara. Hati-hati kalau berkedip, nanti tidak akan tahu apa yang terjadi dan alibinya hancur dalam satu kedipan mata.
Of course, I
Ditalking
have
anjir.
armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
Nah, House of the Heart ini yang punya siapa? Arlesino.
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing.
Jangan buat jumatan, benar. Jadi rentan kasus orang hilang itu ulah Fatui. Kalau begitu sih masuk akal semuanya.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't you look
Astaga.
flabbergasted. Now comes the infighting in Discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy.
Dia emang suka debat, coy. Keren ngajar.
Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny. Why didn't you tell us this before?
Begadang demi jatuhin orang, dasar ayang gue. Nyusahin orang anjir. Tapi untuk kasus ini ya sudah lah.
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were
Anda
neither
tidak
in the
berada dalam
box
kota
nor the
atau
tunnel.
terungga.
Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true?
Tidak ada yang melakukan kemampuan persulap dalam hal mengelabui orang. Line menyembunyikan identitas, artinya ini bisa jadi sudah diatur sedari awal. Cilde itu dari Cilde ada di Fontaine. Begitu juga ada di begitu juga anggota HA. Ada semacam konspirasi di sini. Aku sudah pernah menjadi korban konspirasi seperti itu sebelumnya dan sekarang
Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
izinkan untuk berbicara yang mulia. Keren. Granted. Klien saya telah menyembunyikan informasi penting.
In that case, what is your request?
Mohon penangguhan sementara, ada hal yang harus dibicarakan.
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
Suara Furina jauh banget anjir. Saat sidang ditangguhkan, kamu bertemu dengan Lini dan Lynette di belakang panggung opera.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys.
Tapi nggak semata-mata ini kan. Si Line sama Lynette itu tuh jahat kan? Harusnya loh ya. Aku masih percaya itu sih.
Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Vatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
Menyelamatkan orang sebanyak mungkin.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
Dan dari mana kan bisa yakin kalau omongan berurusan tadi bukan gue?
Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right, let's hear your answer first, and no lies now!
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached
Setelah
that
aku sampai
room and was
ruangan
about
itu,
to
baru mulai
investigate,
mendidik
I
aku
heard
mendengar
someone's
suara
voice.
seseorang.
Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me.
Dan mencoba berbicara
I chose
denganku.
to
Akhirnya
err on
aku
the
pilih
side of
cari aman
caution
saja
and
dan
retreated the
mundur.
way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought.
Pas Line udah balik, ada vas pecah dan baju di lantai. Oh, si ceweknya udah diculik berarti. Pas dia udah balik. Oh.
After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Tapi kenapa ingin cari tahu?
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Paimon ikut kamu apapun yang terjadi. Pilihannya cuma satu. Ya udah, aku percaya pada kebenaran. Aku mau ambil makan. Mau sarapan Bang David. Sambil menonton, kan mantap. Kalau kamu bukan pelakunya, aku tetap akan bela. Kadang juga benar yang bersalah itu. Kalau kamu bukan pelakunya, aku tetap akan bela.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense. Huh? Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Pernyataan Dini. Suara di ruang inti oratris. Oke.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
Oh, bisa dilihat ya ini. Ada satu bagian yang hilang. Nggak tahu itu yang mana.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Cari bagian tidak valid berdasarkan penjelasan kejadian diutarakan oleh pihak lain. Wah, gila sih. Apa yang gila, Fadel? Dan halo, Fadel. Cari bagian yang tidak valid berdasarkan penjelasan kejadian diutarakan oleh pihak lain. Manfaatkan bukti-bukti dan petunjuk yang diperoleh dari investigasi kejadian untuk membantah pernyataan tidak valid. Oke. Manfaatkan bantahanmu untuk meyakinkan hadirin di lokasi sehingga sudut pandangmu bisa diperoleh dukungan lebih kuat. Oratris akan menunjukkan perubahan dengan jelas. Setelah menemukan dan membantah semua pernyataan yang tidak valid, kamu bisa menyelesaikan lingkaran sanggahan dan menguak kebenaran. Anjir.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Lenny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowl's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it.
Ini kok ganti genre game gini?
Behind what happened.
Ya, kejadiannya nggak gitu, Frina.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady
Aku
Farina's
udah selesai
description of the
X1.
events?
Iya, makanya aku lagi nyelesain. Aku biar daily, coy. Aku nggak bisa keluar dari persidangan, anjir.
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events, what Lenny experienced and what he saw.
Oke, so ini itu sebenarnya menyerang, nggak ada ini ya, tindakan lini di terowongan. Oh, ini berasal dari pertikaian antara lini dan Halsey. Nggak tahu. Nah, ini aku masih bisa ini.
Seems this won't produce a particularly effective rebuttal.
Dia mengaku tidak menyaksikan kejadian, tidak mengenal suara apapun. Oh, ini. Nah,
According to Lenny, he left via the
jadi
vent
criminal
in
case,
the
iya.
tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
Dia menculik Halsey. Lini memukul Halsey, hingga pingsan. Namun apakah benar memang ada di terowongan? Tidak, Lini kan tidak di terowongan. Kondisi keluar masuk. Oh, ini. Ya.
Lenny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth.
Memukul. Menurut bukti yang ada, saat Lini kembali ke terowongan, insiden tersebut sudah terjadi, sementara yang dilihat hanyalah bla 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 bla. Pakaian gadis. Oh iya, benar.
Lenny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Ace Detective Paimon has something to say. When the countdown started, Lenny did
Tipis-tipis game Phoenix Wright Anthony, iya. Pas hitungan mundur dimulai, Lini emang masuk ke terowongan, benar.
He immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime
Tapi
scene
tikamnya sudah
was
terbentuk.
developed by the time he reached
Iya.
the tunnel again. And in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he
Dia pun
reached
kembali
the
ke permukaan
surface,
dan
and
dari
that was
pandangnya
when the
disaktilah
accident
kejadian sehari dan
happened from his
dia
point
tidak
of view.
bersalah.
Therefore, he's innocent.
He is innocent. Berhasil membantah. Gokil.
I did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that!
Keren banget, Paimon. Oh, keren banget, Paimon.
You believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
Dan satu lagi, saya yakin ada cacat dalam logika pihak penuntut. Cacat logika. Mampus.
My reasoning?
Tapi Anda bilang, tapi perawatan di panggung telah dimanusiakan dengan terencana. Tapi Anda bilang kalau tidak sengaja bertemu Lini.
If that's the case, then if Kamu hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill?
Apa kabar, Mas Ra? Oh, aku baik-baik saja, Jinbing. Dan BTW, halo ya, selamat pagi, Jinbing. Langsung pada pensi Genshin Player kalau main kayak ginian. Puzzle map Inazuma aja kayak banyak ngeluh. Nggak di Inazuma doang, Sumeru tambah lebih iki coy. Malah lebih repot anjir. Fontaine nggak tahu kayak gimana nanti puzzle-nya.
Assuming that what you say
Dan gimana juga kabarmu, Jinmin?
only needed to kidnap
Sudah
the
sarapan apa
girl
belum?
to
Sarapan
highlight
kalau belum.
Karen's case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him!
That's why they're partners of mine. Oh, well.
Halo Bang, selamat pagi. Halo Bang, Bang Pas Channel. Selamat pagi juga.
What proof do you have to back your claims?
Bantahan tadi cukup kuat aku terima. Tapi apakah ada bukti? Apakah Anda ingat dengan cara Anda menghancurkan alibi Line?
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
Dan pernyataan itu pun jadi petunjuk penting. Keren. C. Ini tadi bahasnya aku agak kelewatan. Pernyataan itu pun jadi petunjuk penting. Tidak relevan. C. Ini pernyataan yang mana ini? Aku nggak bisa nge-rewind apa yang dikatakan tadi, anjir. Oh, ini yo. Di tengah pertunjukan kondisi keluar masuk. Oh, bukan.
That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already entered the basement via the vent.
Iya juga, yang bagian dessert gak sih? Yang hutan juga kok. Yang hutan juga. Kurang baik sih. Agak ngilang-ngilang sakit tenggorokan. Oh alah. Ya, aku juga agak iki sih. Gara-gara kebanyakan ngomong kemarin yo, pas live stream yo. Pagi ya aku agak serong.
The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof. How do you like that?
How you like that?
Well played. To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Lenny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Pembunuhnya adalah. Pilih roda gigi di halaman untuk melihat pertanyaan kasus yang sesuai. Pilih jawaban yang dan masukkan ke seluruh roda gigi yang kosong untuk memverifikasi kebenaran kesimpulannya. Jika salah, kamu harus kembali memilih dari pilihan yang tersisa. Setelah berhasil menjawab seluruh pertanyaan yang tepat, kamu bisa menyelesaikan penalaran berantai kali ini. Jika Lini bukan lagi tersangka, maka anggota rombongan Sulapainya saja yang bisa. Iya, aku tuh curiga sama temennya yang ini loh, temennya yang nge-setting peralatannya. Lini menjelaskan secara detail tentang trip sulap tersebut dengan menggunakan kotak di dalam kotak. Kotak berisi penonton itu dipindahkan ke sisi seberang melalui terowongan. Sementara melalui terowongan yang sama, Lini pun mengarahkan ke sisi satunya. Setelah ganti baju, Lynette dan asistennya akan ambil alih interaksi ke atas panggung. Pakaian milik Halsey. Wanita yang hilang ditemukan. Pilih petunjuk apapun untuk melihat detail. Ini tuh apa?
There have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility? The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or did she have her own scheme all along?
Atau jangan-jangan itu curiga kok malah gadisnya sendiri aja yang jadi pelakunya, kayak pengen bunuh Halsey gitu. Pengen bunuh Cowell gitu.
Could there have been a third person involved? Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Cowell bunuh diri gitu.
That can't be right. Are you serious?
Aku juga bingung. Aku pun nggak tahu.
The killer was, in fact, Cowell, the deceased!
Oh, is that so? How interesting! Let's hear
Mas,
your
Line bagus nggak?
reasoning then.
Nek pendapatku pribadi yo, Line biasa aja. Untuk kitnya sekarang dia biasa aja sih.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
Berikut adalah reka ulang kebenaran apa yang dilakukan Kamu sehingga dia berubah jadi korban dan jadi aku. Bagaimana cara menganalisa bahwa Line itu enggak, yang tadi mana? Oh, rencana Kowal dalam terowongan.
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between... No one entered or left the opera house.
Oh, kebalik ya. Oh, ini.
Halsey's clothing was in the
Bagaimana cara menganalisa bahwa itu tidak ada hubungan dengan rencana kejahatan?
The sound we heard may have
Oh ya, ini benar. Nanti. Dan cara membuktikan bahwa memang terjadi konflik di dalam terowongan. Membuktikan bagaimana cara menjadi konflik ini.
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. No one entered or left. The deceased's name is Kamu.
Kemana hilangnya Halsey?
It would have been tough for both. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which no one entered or left.
Oh, keliru. Oh, ini yang keliru aja. Oke. Banyak cara membuktikan. Asal pas cek banner kemarin kepecah 10 kali pun dan malah dapat padahal nyimpen buat Raiden. Astaga. Iya, aku pribadi biasa aja sih ini. Kalau ada Konoha korban meninggalnya ya korban. Masa gitu aja? Bagaimana cara membuktikan bahwa memang terjadi konflik di terowongan? Memang terjadi konflik di terowongan.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey.
Kemana hilangnya?
It would have been tough for both people to fit into
Oh.
that. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that...
Masa baju? Bagaimana cara menganalisa Line tidak hubungan dengan kejahatan?
It would have been
Oh,
tough
ini.
for both...
Iya benar. Oh, bajunya yang bukan. Cara menganalisa bahwa Line tidak hubungan dengan kejahatan.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that...
Oh, ini berarti. Kemana hilangnya Halsey?
It would have been tough for both people to fit...
Dan resmi aset selain fakta bahwa dia akhirnya meninggal, Kowal mampu melakukan kejahatan ini dengan mudah. Suara aneh itu bisa jadi suara perkelahian Kowal dan Halsey. Line tidak ada di terowongan selama 1 menit penuh. Jadi Kowal punya waktu untuk mengeluarkan Halsey dari kota ajaib ke kursi penonton. Tapi menurut kesaksian para garde tidak ada yang masuk atau keluar dari gedung. Jadi bahkan kalau dia mengirimnya ke suatu tempat, dia tidak bisa keluar. Kalau keluar dari kota, penonton pasti ketawa.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from...
Sabar, Frina, sabar.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera.
Masa air bisa jadi ini anjir?
In the performance.
Jadi gerbang gitu?
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Objection. Keren.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. The vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is
Tumben live pagi,
reality we're
Bang.
talking about
Aku
here, not
ingin
some
menyelesaikan cerita
fantasy
ini terus udahan. Soalnya aku tidak bisa daily gara-gara harus sidang, coy. Permintaan untuk memeriksa barang pribadi kau mungkin ada petunjuknya.
Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very
Dan BTW halo ya
well.
Bang Doni Setiawan.
Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real.
Even so, I trust the traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make
Dituntut
sense.
vokal juga, Mas. Iya, ini.
Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention.
Karena kalau ada kebiasaan ini kita tidak mencurigai
But
dirinya.
given that we aren't making
Karena
much
kasusnya sudah
progress with the case,
tidak
it
terang,
wouldn't hurt
tidak
to have a
banyak
look at his
lagi.
belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part
Masih
of the
dalam ranah
attorney.
hak kuasa.
Since the trial does indeed appear to be at
Dia lek duduk
its
keren banget anjir New Village.
additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased, Cowell.
Salah seorang anggota guard kembali membawa laporan.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid with
Cairan dalam tabung reaksi yang label
each
metal
labeled
barang
separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
Water from
The
primordial.
primordial sea.
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that
Yang
sells illegal
memperdayakan
drugs and
obat-obat
that he
terlalu
had an
berbahaya juga
accomplice.
komputer.
The notebook has
Anjir.
many entries concerning safe
Ada
usage
banyak
of
tulisan
these
tentang
fluids,
cara menggunakan
in
cara
which
ini
the
dengan
keyword
melarutkan.
dissolve appears many times.
Muncul hingga beberapa kali.
One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these
Menyebutkan bahwa
dysfunctional
sifat properti
properties
hanya
were
efektif untuk
exclusively
orang-orang
evil for
penting. Ini
Fontaine.
mengingatkan bahwa Harvey
It's
itu sebagai
likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence, isn't it?
If people can become water,
Oh, berarti tong itu sebenarnya mungkin menyebabkan bekas
real
tangan.
use was as a means to hide water stains? Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order!
It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has
Apa
yielded some
hubungannya, coy?
surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues.
Iya, aku mulai seru nih. Jadi si temennya si Cowell ini kan berarti kan kurir something kan yang membawa air primordial yang itu bisa melarutkan orang-orang Fontaine. Apa hubungannya dengan semua ini ya?
Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has
Berat, kenapa aku pipis ya? Aku berat pipis rek, sik sabar. Kamar mandi. Sik sabar cepet ki. Kenapa aku pas streaming mesti kebat ngoyo ya? Lanjut. Kan kasusnya kemana? Iya, bener. Enggak. Tadi tuh awal kasusnya itu siapa yang membunuh Kawa. Tapi jadi beralih gara-gara pernyataannya semuanya benar, si Line tidak ada hubungannya. Dan yang diduga sekarang si Kawa kan. Si Kawa ini bawa air yang bisa ngelarutin orang Fontaine. Sekarang yang kasusnya itu sekarang ini. Oke. Seru. Font kamar mandi dan dari Minecraft. Iya. Pagi Bang Araa. Halo Bang Rider Shotgun.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor.
Iya, kan karena Kawal jadi tersangka, iya. Tapi masih hipotesis ya. Hipotesisnya itu Kawal jadi tersangka saat ini.
If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right, like the metal hook. That one didn't
Kait logam. Oh iya, ada kayak jangkar gitu.
Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
Siapa tersangka utama saat ini?
The deceased's name is
Barang apa yang digunakan untuk mengontrol waktu pelarutan? Barang apa yang digunakan pelakunya untuk mengontrol Barang apa yang digunakan pelakunya untuk mengontrol waktu pelarutan?
The water from the primordial
Barang apa yang digunakan pelaku? Oh, ini yang ini.
water from the primordial
Barang apa yang digunakan pelaku untuk mengontrol waktu pelarutan?
Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for
Barang apa yang digunakan? Ini. Barang apa yang digunakan untuk menyebabkan mekanisme di bawah kejahatan tersebut?
the rope that held the water tank up.
Oh, kurang yang terakhir doang. Oke. Barang apa yang digunakan pelaku untuk menyembunyikan mekanisme di balik kejahatan tersebut?
I remember there was something else with
Wah. Kaitan. Nah, soalnya Lini ngaku dia di tempat beda. Iya, yang tadi. Keren banget, Paimon.
In the original plan, Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
Oh, dia mati gara-gara nggak ada kesempatan buat kabur. Mungkin itu ya.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Wih, imbang lagi, coy.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I
Dek
think this
bingung.
is convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person?
Masa aku nuduh orang tidak bersalah, ya dirimu sendiri.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention
Sekarang sepertinya
remaining
salah
is
satu
the
keraguan
exact
saya adalah kebenaran.
circumstances that led to Cal's death.
Satu-satunya keraguan tersisa adalah kebenaran dari dibalik kematian
His
Kamu.
notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Siapa?
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case.
Kami baru saja memeriksa barang-barang pribadi orang lain.
And we found an identical
Sampai
sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What?
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close.
Oh, jambret. Ih!
Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Kamu then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return,
Ini hatimunya
in
buta
cruel
tertampang.
avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Kamu out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion,
Loh,
it does seem
enggak,
that
ini masih di dalam ini kok.
cold-blooded
Tidak, tidak. Oh, kalau tidak, kamu ada yang keliru di sini.
Am I right, Mr. Linny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end of the road?
Tidak, Traveler. Tidak. No. Aku masih bisa. Kita masih bisa membantah. Loh, kenapa? Kenapa tidak dikasih pilihan?
Doesn't look like there's any way around this. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move.
Manuvernya masih rapi amat.
Why did this have to happen now?
Pamit dulu mas, ada urusan. Oh, oke Jinmin. Makasih loh sudah mau ini ya, sudah mau sempat mampir ya.
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning.
Dan cukup pula jumlah saksi yang dengar kamu yang
I
tahu.
believe this is indeed the finale.
Oh, yang terakhir itu ayat laut dari primordial. Nggak ada lagi yo. Anjir.
Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Objection! Keren.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please.
What in the world is she saying?
Dasar arsan bipolar.
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about
Iya,
misdirection.
jelas lah nyupirin berwibawa, coy.
Conceals the truth
Yang penting dia
while
lucu,
presenting
benar.
a fascinating illusion.
Dia cuma memerankan perannya ya, David ya.
But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again?
Aku mau bacain.
And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette, give it another go. Don't worry, Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
And voila!
Wih, balik.
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
Aku sudah senang tidak ada yang sadar dan tiba-tiba saja dia menangkapku.
That'll teach you to underestimate
Oh,
us three.
ini.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Kamu. I admit it.
Oh.
What? Why?
Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt.
Huh?
I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never been caught before.
Ini yang ini yo. Sing pencuri di awal nggak sih? Apa iya? Ah bukan. Kayak iya deh. Dia kan cewek juga di awal. Dan halo Bang Agil. Lisa, bukan Lisa. Lily. Liliana.
A few days ago, and I barely got away. Lenny
Oh iya bener.
in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no
Tiba-tiba aku disiram air.
Someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me.
Setelahnya ada yang menerjangku dari dalam terowongan.
I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box.
Oh.
There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
Kalau dia berarti mau menjadikan diri.
But I swear I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it.
Oh, oke, mulai jelas. Jadi yang India ini ngebunuh Kamu. Jadi Kamunya ditaruh di kotak itu sudah mati. Iya toh? Tapi nggak tahu kalau kotak yang ada di tangki air itu jatuh itu nggak tahu. Jadi ada satu kejadian lagi yang belum terungkap ini.
Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Oh, dia nggak bunuh tapi dia naruh Kamu di kotak. Pingsan doang, iyo. Oke.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian's perspective.
Lilian perspektif ya. Suara aneh ketika terdengar keras.
The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but it was smashed during the struggle between Lillian and Kamu.
Pilihan acak iku hari dilarutkan. Kasihan.
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
Insiden di panggung. Sebuah kecelakaan. Tastannya jatuh. Bukan. Bukan. Mukulnya nggak pingsan.
Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time.
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head.
Dia pun menendang pintunya hingga terbuka.
Producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Kamu leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved.
Oke. Dia tidak tahu kalau Lin bukan orang Fontaine, melainkan main datang.
Who made her way in by stealing a ticket, mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time.
Jadi dia mencoba memasang Lin masuk dari kota.
Broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Kamu out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Keren. Oke.
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the opera house these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
Dia kelaparan berat waktu kita ngobrol sambil makan. Oh, itu dicuri sama dia. Emang iya, anjir.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
So that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow.
Langsung ciut dia.
She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Kamu, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be to cover up any evidence while committing the deed. Kamu thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the
si Kamunya sendiri, oke.
He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box.
Dia menyelipkan tali pengait yang sudah disiapkan melalui celah pintu kota ajaib saat mengantar.
When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Kamu entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box. and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements,
Dia
then
berganti bacaan
changed clothes and
maksudnya.
hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Innocent.
While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately,
Iya, ini gara-gara dia ngaku dari House of the Heart.
this case at least can be handed over to the oratories to make the final decision.
Apa itu?
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Not guilty.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Keren nih jadi animasi gacha Mas Roy ya.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn.
Hah? Ada something lagi?
How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Oh, yang masalah itu.
Right.
Langsung balik.
Caused me to make a serious mistake, you know.
Oh, right.
Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dare to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes?
Mengenai komplotan disebut dalam catatan Cowell, identitasnya bukan Linny, melainkan Anda. Oh,
I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly, unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
oh si guardnya malah, oh nuduh Linny.
I was just following orders.
Oh, kurang ajar nih.
We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
Hah? Dia berubah jadi air.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Patui, tetap patui dalangnya anjir. Hayya.
So, we're just going back now?
Kita tidak bergerak lagi di sini.
That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Linny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui. I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
Otats. Otats itu apa, guys? Bang David yang biasanya ngerti. Bang David, otats itu apa, Bang David? Yang kalian kenal dengan nama The Knave. Oh, The Knave, iya. Aku tahu.
The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street
Loh,
performer.
ayah yang dimaksud, iya, aku tahu. Ayah itu Arlesino, aku tahu. Otet itu apa? Cewek tapi dipanggil ayah, iya.
I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
Oh.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any
Otats
rate.
artinya ayah. Oh, bahasa Latin ya.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was.
Butuh waktu cukup lama sampai aku sadar kalau hatinya hitam segelap malam.
After one particular performance at a banquet,
Aku
I
mendapatkan
discovered
bahwa
that
tidak ada
Lynette
kendaraan
was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but
tapi dia
she did
tidak
not come back.
balik-balik. Aku mau ketemu.
I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift.
Janji adiknya dijual, Cuk.
Magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law.
Memang setan.
I managed to ferret out the
Dalam
location
itu
of that
bahasa Rusia.
so-called
Oh,
eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
Oh, ini akhirnya pas dia ditemukan sama Deni.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I had just been betrayed by nobles.
Arlesino itu nomor berapa ya? Nomor 8 gak sih? Bahkan hukum aja nggak bisa menghukum orang yang berpasal. Iyo. Aku makanya agak suka ceritanya Fontaine ini relate gitu loh. Tajam salah. Tumpul ke atas, tajam ke bawah. Keempat. Nomor 4 ya dia. Iya, emang kan nih kuat sih. Tapi dia ada ucapan nggak bisa kebebasan nggak harus kami. Kebebasan kami pun dikembalikan. Oh ya itu asal mualnya mereka di ini ya. Diadopsi Mbak Arlesino ya.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
Loh, Line tahu masalah genosis.
She has her own plans.
Oh, dia tahu masalah genosis.
She has gained permission from the Sarita to first use the Gnosis's power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
Oh, itu alasannya kenapa satu tujuan. Linet itu juga ingin mematahkan ramalan.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included,
Arlecchino.
We won't give up on defending our homeland.
Loh, ini kata-kata signature. Kami tidak akan pernah menyerah untuk melindungi tanah air. Fontaine proud, yoi.
To us orphans, the only connection we have
Arlecchino itu orang Fontaine juga.
apart from our family is our homeland.
Satu-satunya hubungannya tersisa bagi kami anak yatim selain keluarga, tentulah tanah air.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
It's all right. I understand. The only thing I can do is
Barusan dia bilang, oh iya dah, aku nggak tahu. Aku nggak terlalu ini, nggak sadar aku.
I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right.
Yang ku tahu dia ada di Fontaine doang, itu aja. Aku nggak tahu kalau dia itu asal rumahnya tuh dari Fontaine. Dah lah males. Soalnya kalau either berhubungan dengan Fatu itu pasti berantem, coy, di mana-mana anjir. Sama Wanderer berantem, sama Tatang awalnya ketemu berantem, ketemu lagi mbak Tatang langsung cuek anjir. Ya, either ya. Tatang, Mas Bro, ya.
If you should need anything at all in the future,
Oh, yo, traveler, how you doing here?
I will do my best to help you.
Itu anjir.
As plain Linny.
Nah, either sudah terlalu tersakiti. Akhirnya kelar, coy. Dari trailer aja udah ketahuan masalah yang pertama. Oh iya, tak? Aku nggak terlalu merhatiin ya. Maafkan aku. Mereka berdua itu bawaannya. Oh, ya aku tahu. Kalau yang dari trailer Arlecchino itu aku tahu. Maksudnya Lini itu, si Lini sama Linet itu ada hubungannya dengan Arlecchino dan pasti itu anak buahnya. Entah itu bodyguard atau apa, pokok ada hubungannya gitu. Nah itu aku tahu. Ketemu Mbak Raffi ya? Oh iya bener.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though.
Kenapa kok tulisannya aku?
Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades?
Ketemu pacar Fontaine. Iya.
Given that there's new
Cantik coy, Raffi ya.
there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archive.
Ininya loh, apa? Bagian ininya itu ketat banget gitu loh. Iya nggak sih? Kelihatan dari bentuknya. Ngapret gitu.
I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer.
Oh, kamu berlebihan lah ya.
Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
Ya, yuk makan-makan.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navi is treating, count Paimon in.
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell meal.
Ini selesai akt 1 ya? Ah ya. Tring. Oke. Aduh, kelar. Gokil. Ya, kita ketemu besok lagi. Aku cuma mau ngejalanin ini. Aku tuh sebenarnya pengen bawain nanti sore atau apa gitu, tapi aku takutnya resinku mau penuh, aku belum daily. Dan akhirnya bisa keluar dari opera. Ya Tuhan. Yes. Kamu udah buka air terjun? Belum. Kalau masih muak sama sidang-sidang jangan langsung lanjut part 2. Iya, aku tahu pasti ada something berkaitan dengan itu. Part 2-nya nanti di another day aja. Hari ini aku mau mengerehat air mancur. Air mancur ini kan Fountain of Lucin, air mancur. Apa bukan? Sepertinya beda deh. Udah bisa ditukar. Iya, udah bisa. Seru juga. Udah. Tapi udah kena stabilan. Ya maaf. Maaf ya Padel. Aku belum explore. Aku tuh kemarin cuma buka something. Ya, buka ini. Udah, yang ini belum sih. Aku menyantai kok live streamnya untuk dekat-dekat ini. Jadi main Genshin terutama, tidak kebut-kebut. Dan aku mau ngebos baru, ada yang mau ikut? Setelah itu aku mau pamit undur diri untuk hari ini. Kita ketemu nanti sore kan ada. Kita lihat dan hang. Ya kan? Karena seru, maksudnya aku tonton terus. Mantap, lanjutkan. Yoi pada. Thank you pada. Prinsip. Keluar rumah David, aku khawatir. Iya. David itu semalaman loh, kayak David belum tidur deh. Keren. Retreat. Yes.
The Temple of Wisdom. I see everything.
Emerge. Right here. Right now.
Flicker.
Meninggal coy. Astaga, aku 3 hari ini dapat 2 doang loh. Geodemek. Enggak butuh. Salah. Kesini. Aku tuh kasihan sama dia. Soalnya dia kan peneliti robot yang tadi tuh, mengamati robot-robot tadi. Malah tak rusak. Maaf ya, Melard. Namamu susah banget. Ngomong-ngomong, aku mau naikin talent traveler. Apakah talent hydro traveler itu worth it untuk dinaikkan, guys? Shit, belum kebuka. Besok ya? Ini hari Sabtu, ya. Iya. Dulu. Sarapan Mas. Mau sarapan? Aku tadi sudah. Aku sudah sarapan. Oh iya, aku belum weekly. Aku tuh belum weekly, guys. Weekly lah ya. Boleh lah. Jadi next arc itu kira-kira bahas apa? Tadi gak dikasih clue anjir bahas apa? Dikasih sih. Pokok ini harus sih. Kan ini X1 ya. X2 berarti ini Tatang gelut sama New Village. Ya. Yang kulihat dari trailer itu Tatang gelut sama New Village. Sarapan soto. Mantap tuh. Enak sih. Ini hari apa toh? Ini hari Jumat apa Sabtu sih? Oh Jumat. Oh ini Jumat tapi kayak Sabtu coy. Iya. Ada vision Tatang. Iya udah, aku udah ngecek. Ini kan. Nah tuh, vision shielded. Kemarin kan udah dikasih sama dia. Nitip maksudnya bukan dikasih.
Bow before me, worm.
Right here. Everyone hold here.
Churn.
Vision ngadat, iya. Visionnya ngadat anjir. Vision kok ngadat. Kemarin Paimon loh komennya gitu anjir. Cil deh, apa yang terjadi? Visionmu ngadat. Transforme Wawan ternyata lama ya ternyata.
1,000 eons, mine to dominate.
Loh, baru lawan sekarang mas Re. Loh, ini kan weekly boss. Aku weekly boss. Dan halo Kyoko. Selamat pagi. Aku belum weekly boss soalnya. Anjir sakit. Oh, tak kira. Bukan. Story-nya aku sampai X1. X1 aku barusan selesai. Aku mati cu. Sakit banget loh.
Now, your eyes have been opened.
Kurang ajar.
Emerge. Right here. Right now.
Reality is pain.
Sakit anjir. Lebih mana level 50 ya? Dan apakah benar Alessino nanti jadi world boss? Sepertinya ya. Setiap orang-orang stage Naya yang di region lain itu selalu udah di world boss anjir. Mana? Oh ini. Biasanya kalau orang nitip barang berharga ke kita itu tandanya dia nggak bakal balik. Jangan gitu dong. Tatang masih hidup, aku percaya Tatang masih hidup. Gimana ini? Oh iya. Oke, nice. Tatang hampir diklip bos lagi. Tapi aku ngelihat yang kemarin di trailer itu keren banget sih Tatang. Oh jadi caramu begini kalau menjadi penegak hukum. Kalau kamu bisa bikin hukum sendiri, kalau begitu aku juga bisa. Wah, hardware gitu. Keren, cu. Anjir. Gak sabar ngelihat besok, anjir. Ya, jangan di spoiler ya. Lawan siapa? Ini. Patch ini ada weekly boss baru nggak? Nggak ada toh? Ya, nggak apa-apa wis. Kalian kasih tahu ada weekly boss baru nggak? Nggak ada ya? Harusnya nggak ada sih. Harusnya sih nggak ada ya. Ya aku percaya nggak ada sih. Nek ada, aku mau nyimpen yang buat weekly boss baru. Tatang kapan? Tapi yang ketemu pertama iya sih, lucu sih. Pandangannya kok beda ya? Kayak lebih deep gitu. Oh iya sih. Datang. So, is this how justice is done in Fontaine? What a joke. You got your rule, well, I got mine too. Cer, keren gitu sumpah. Tatang is the best. Our mamen. Sakit tuh.
Here you are.
Salah. Nahida harusnya. Nah.
I see everything.
Right now, right here. Emerge.
Flicker.
Kok lama ya?
Right here. Emerge. Right here.
Everyone hold hands.
Boom. Nice. Oh, nice. Masalah. Kita semalam dengan pernaga dunia. Semalam apa? Oh, semakin dekat dengan pernaga duniawi. Maksudnya pernaga duniawi. Iya, kita nanti ngelihat naga dan heng. Semakin dekat dengan pernaga duniawi. Aku nggak tahu maksudmu apa. Di Genshin, Nova. Oh, Nova. Iya, Nova kan naga. Apa ya? Maaf ya, Kuci.
Right here. Emerge.
I see everything.
Flicker.
Kebanyakan gerak suka. Di Ponte juga kan naga. Iya, Novel itu naga. Oh, sudah lama aku tidak dapat ini, coy. Sudah berpuluh-puluh ratus kali aku main Genshin Weekly Boss. Aku cuma punya 65. Saking langkanya aja. Dream Solvent. Dan iyo. Aku butuh Weekly Boss di Fontaine. Oh iya, ini. Kalian belum jawab pertanyaanku. Di Fontaine, di patch ini ada stage weekly boss apa enggak? Kalau enggak ada, iya sudah. Kayaknya next patch gitu. Kalau ada, aku mau weekly boss 4.2 nanti. Oh, kok lama anjir? Iya sudah. Terakhir ini aja guys. Tandanya Tatang hampir jadi weekly boss. Oh, aku nggak tahu konteksnya itu apa, tapi ya sudah. Dan jangan diberitahu. Ya, ini adalah part terakhir dari streaming kali ini. Aku mau pamit dari sini. Terima kasih sudah mau menonton part 1 Arts and Quest ya. Lumayan seru coy. Nanti kamu tahu, iya. Besok aku tahu. Kalau ada salah-salah kata mau dimaafkan. Kita ketemu nanti sore di jam 6:30 malam nonton Dan Heng Naga sama Fuslan rilis di Honkai Star. Oke. Terima kasih semuanya. Dan selamat berhari Jumat. Ini mau siang, yang cowok jangan lupa Jumatan kalau kalian beragama Muslim. Itu aja dari Bang Araa. Terima kasih sudah mau menonton. See you nanti malam ending. Masalah aku diberikan pilihan berat, banyak pria tampan. Pilih salah satu. Kan kamu ini toh, new village toh. Ayo Jumatan. Astaga. Bukannya kamu ini ya? Nah ya itu. Oke, ending. Bye-bye.